So it's great to talk to both of you. I really enjoyed the movie. It was like a year ago that I spoke to you for Lords of Chaos, and didn't realize right after Sundance you were going to go film this.
Right. Yeah, no, we were right in prep when I saw you last time, yeah.
Yeah, so I guess I want to start with, how did you two first connect? And what is it like when you're both meeting each other for the first time? And you know what I mean? Like, is it, I guess, can you describe what it was, how you guys first connected?
Do you remember it?
I do.
Okay.
I came all the way to Denmark to see you.
Yeah. From where?
From LA.
That's right. I thought he came from Sweden because he's Swedish. But
No. Long trip.
we had there was this graphic novel that came our way at different timings. It was on my table a couple of years ago, and then it disappeared, and then it came back, and then Jonas was attached to it. And so he came. We had a long meeting. Talked about what we loved about the graphic novel, and how to put that on a big screen. And it was fantastic. It was a rock and roll meeting. There was a lot of ideas.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was perfect. I just thought that let's go and do it. This is it's a mad book, and he seems sufficiently mad to pull it off. So that's how we went for it.
Completely. So you have the script, you're putting it together. How much changed along the way from those initial meetings to what people see on screen?
Well, quite a lot. Mads came with a backpack of notes. That was the first thing he said to me, and I guess I did too. So there was a lot of discussions, a lot of smart and great discussions, how to develop and how to make the story stronger and how to figure out the characters and all that. So that was an ongoing thing throughout the whole process.
Yeah. And I think from a very early stage we were agreeing that the stuff we loved about the graphic novel, the brutality, the visual feel to the whole thing, was something we definitely. I mean, that was the key. That was the base of the story. But at the same time, we also wanted to have something that was weighing it up a little, making it a slow-paced film to a degree and a high-paced film to another degree, and let those two worlds morph together.
One of the things I like is that your character is very proficient at killing people, but in the real world, he seems completely out of place.
Yeah, that was the idea. Yeah. I mean, we thought that would be, an interesting approach of not having a character that was. I mean, he's super skillful, but we didn't want him to throw around with punchlines and one-liners and be cool. He might call a laugh out once in a while, but that's because he sucks. That's what he's saying. It's embarrassing what he's saying to real people.
With a movie like this, the action set pieces, they obviously matter because people want to see you, kicking some ass. Yep. So talk a little bit about the way you guys worked together in crafting the action, and were there certain things that you were going for, or just talk about crafting the action set pieces?
Well, we were well prepared, of course, and choreographed and ready. And I kind of had like a music video approach to all the action sequences, shooting a lot of angles and preparing a lot for the edit. Mads insisted of doing very long takes, so the edit could have been very different because we actually did very long takes. We also had 2 stunt doubles standing by that would never worked because he insisted of doing everything himself.
They did a couple of things.
Not really.
The roll. I had an issue with my back that day.
Yeah, but the one I used is you. Okay. Well, anyway, and of course, 25 below, naked in the snow, requires a lot of preparation and all that stuff. So,
one of the things that we wanted. I mean, even though he's highly skillful at a certain time, when he has a major fight, he's not in the best stage he's ever been in. So we wanted it to be on the verge of collapsing for a long, long time. And, so there's another guy coming. Hopefully it's over. There's another guy coming. It's not over yet. So we wanted it to be tight and not one of these da-ba-da-bum, da-ba-dum. He didn't want this fight. And it was what we call a heavy fight. That's what we're going for. That also means, obviously, that when you do the stunts, you approach them differently. It is a heavy fall. You fall heavy on concrete. So you can't just get away with doing something slick because the character was not there. That made it a little more brutal.
Right. Yeah, we wanted it to look like it hurt.
I read in the notes that one of the things you like about a character is figuring out the clothing that they're going to wear, and something about you loved the boots.
Yeah, I loved the boots. I loved his coat. I was very much in love with his stash, We went through that a lot with Susan, and back and forth, but I think we were all generally wanted to give him some weight. some gravity. We wanted him to, well, he's got plenty of money, but he's not that interested in wearing any of it, right? So, so a man who's just in a degree can mix in until he opens his mouth.
Sure. I definitely am curious about the editing room and ultimately the final rewrite. What did you learn from early screenings for friends and family, test screenings that impacted the finished film?
Actually, not as much as you would think on this one, because we worked so hard on the script in advance. So it's very much exactly what we shot, actually. It didn't change much.
Did you have a lot of deleted scenes?
No, not at all. There's a few moments and a few shortened moments and all that, but no, nothing big, major that we took out, no.
I'm a big, for some reason, and I think a lot of people like watching like films that take place in the criminal world, hitmen. What is it about the hitman genre, or that seems to relate to so many people?
It's a tricky question, right? I think we've probably both had it numerous times. I have this philosophy that it's part of human nature that, you know, we invent God, and then 5 minutes later we invent Satan. We just need it. We need that balance. We're so curious about what's the other side of the coin. And to explain it further, you have to be a psychologist, I'm sure, but there is a fascination, definitely.
For sure.
I mean, if this guy he's also taking out people we don't like, you know, so that comes in handy, but not all the time, right? So he's been there forever, right? If he's a good person and he's just doing his job, we can live with it. If he's not a good person and we hate him, it's a different approach, right?
I'm a big fan of your work, and I really believe in what you're selling on screen. How do you typically like to prepare for a role? And when you're playing a role like this, are you doing something different, or do you have like an approach for each of your movies?
It varies slightly, I guess, but the approach is always with him and the script. This is what everything's about. This is the base of everything. I might come up with small ideas that has nothing to do with this, but the story and the way we approach it together is the vital key.
Last question for both of you. I definitely want to, for people that aren't familiar with Lords of Chaos, another film that I really recommend that comes out soon. Can you tell people a little bit about it? And also, I believe you got to work with Hideo Kojima on his upcoming game, which I'm very excited for. Could you talk a little bit about working with him in the game?
Let me do it first because that's going to be short.
Sure.
I can't say anything I'm not allowed to. But it's going to be awesome.
Well, and I can speak forever about Lords of Chaos, so you better stop me. No, Lords of Chaos is finally coming out. It's actually coming out just a couple of weeks after this one.
By the way, I recommend it to everyone. Go on.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. And it's very different from Polar. It's actually completely different, and it's set in Norway, based on a true story about the Norwegian black metal scene in the late 80s, early 90s. So I'll leave it at that, but again, I can talk about it forever if you want me to.
Yeah, I really, it's pretty dark, and we could definitely talk more. Both of you, thank you so much for giving me your time. Have a fantastic day.
Thank you so much.